Hello everyone, Rich Hagan, Pro Tour historian Brian David Marshall with you to wrap things up in a neat little package for the end of the second day here of Pro Tour Khans of Tarkir, the island paradise of Honolulu, a spectacular backdrop for players and fans alike. For BDM, it turns out quite a good top 8.
Wow, the top 8 is very impressive. We have a lot of people repeating top 8s, people having breakthrough top 8s, drama upon drama upon drama in that last round of the Swiss. It was just amazing.
Well, behind us, we do have our overall scoreboard. Why don't we take a look for you? And of course, as always, great though the performances on the right-hand side of the screen are, on the left is where it really matters. And your top 8. Well, where shall we start? Let's start right at the top with Sean McLaren.
Pro Tour champion Sean McLaren, regarded as a modern master, has shown he has what it takes to draft. 6-0'd his draft. He's done that twice now at the Pro Tour and has shown he has what it takes in standard as well. He's your top seed going into tomorrow. Just a tremendous player playing the Czech wins deck.
Yeah, and someone who we have often emphasized the importance of team. He is Team F1. It's just Mr. McLaren.
Right, and so funny, we talked about how he prepares for an event. He says, you know what, I get out about a week from the event and I like to settle my deck. I like to decide this is what I'm playing. I've done my play testing, I might fine tune it, I might make some adjustments, but that's done. And then I spend a week on Magic Online drafting every waking hour, basically. Drafting. And we've just seen those results. When you can go 6-0 in limited, you have a little bit, you have 2 matches to give in constructed that maybe you wouldn't have if you drop 2 of your limited matches.
Practice. That's the way that Sean McLaren does it. It is also the way that one of the most studious players in the game today goes about his business. Number 2 there, Ari Lax.
Ari Lax, I didn't write my article at the beginning of the season about the players with the most pro points without a top 8. Ari Lax, very near the top of that list coming into this event. He had 147, maybe 148 pro points coming in. No top 8s, number of top 16 finishes, a huge breakthrough for him. You used the word studious. That's exactly what he did. He's been studying at the feet of 2 of the greatest drafters, at the Pro Tour and after the Pro Tour in Chris Fennell and Neil Reeves.
Right. 2
players, and he has just been, he said, you know what? I just do what they tell me. And again, someone else who went 6-0 in his draft.
Yeah, fantastic job by Ari Lax. Incidentally, McLaren's going to be playing Jeskai aggro. What about Ari Lax? What's he on?
Ari Lax is playing an Obzon mid-range deck that was designed by his teammate Steve Rubin. He sort of was like, no, this deck is terrible. I don't want to play it. You just built this deck because it beats our decks. And he's like, yeah, it beats your decks, which are the other decks people are going to be playing. And he's like, oh, you're right. I'll play this.
We have 2 more Obzan decks coming up. 3rd place, Thiago Saporito, 12-3-1 from Brazil. Terrific performance by him, 6-0 to open up. Once he falls back to 6-2, we privately say things like, that's probably his bubble burst. Back he comes, 6-2, 10-2, and then held it together down the stretch.
And a new name in the mix for the top Brazilian players.
Absolutely.
Someone that you're going to have to look to, as we go towards Worlds and World Championships next year.
So then also on Obzan, 4th seed, Mike Sigrist, the other overnight leader.
Yeah, Mike Sigrist was 8-0. And got off to a very good start. I think he went as far as 10-0 before he picked up a loss. Veteran player's been around for a long time. Paul Rietzel remembers going to Your Move games for the first time and to play Magic, and this guy Mike Sigrist was there and kind of had his corner seat at the draft table a la Norm McCheers.
Right, so he really has been throughout the history of the game.
And first top 8 of his career, very impressive for him.
Now number 5 seed, this is not his first go round, and the first time he was here from the Slayer Republic, Even Flock, he went the distance.
Yeah, former world team champion, won the last Pro Tour that we played. You might remember him from Pro Tour M15. You may remember some flying sheep that, took down, or just giant sheep. They seemed like they were flying Archangel Thune. Control deck player, blue-white control not available to him this time. Played blue-black control this weekend. 2nd top 8 in 2 Pro Tours after a long career without a top 8.
Yep.
Very impressive. Team Cabin in the Woods.
3 matches away from back-to-back titles. Crazy. Number 6, Czech Republic, Andrei Strassky. Now, you look at the flags and you think Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, pretty similar. Well, it turns out those two on the same team, the cabin crew.
And in the same cabin, yeah, the cabin crew.
Right. So that's a group basically of the Slovak Republic, the Czechs, Matej Zatlkai, and so on, and Martin User. And they literally, off they go into the cabin.
What's Strassky playing?
Strassky's on Jeskai.
Okay.
Jeskai aggro, a nice sort of aggressive deck for him. And then that's where the drama kicks in, because we knew going into the last round, those 6 pretty much there. But there were 7 players on 36 points or better going into that last round. Well, to handshake, you need another hand. When the dancing stopped, the odd man out was Owen Turtenwald. He had to play his last round. Paired down, of course, against Yuya Watanabe.
It's not often you find yourself playing in a match where you're disadvantaged in Player of the Year titles.
That's right. Oh, how many Player of the Year titles have you got? 2?
By the way, that sounds best being said with an English accent, even if that's never actually been said with an English accent.
Oh, my Lord. Hate mail to BDM at Top 8 Games. Moving on. So, Yuya Watanabe wins that match against Owen Turtenwald. Now, that pretty much, the math guaranteed that would be Turtenwald out. It didn't guarantee Watanabe in. There were several players who could overhaul him for what would turn out to be slot 7 and 8. Let's see who made it. Well, it was Li Shichan with an explosion of emotion, defeating in the end Spencer Garnier in the last round and the last match of the last round in the feature match area.
And just like, it was top deck, a card that would let me top deck into a card that let me top deck for 2 cards. That was basically that last turn for him. It was harrowing. I remember, Sam Black digging in Philadelphia and then not getting there. This time we got to see dig, and then there it was. And then, like you said, that explosion, and he basically ran around the room.
And what is so interesting, you mentioned Sam Black. That, of course, is modern, where everyone who's been paying attention knew that Jeskai Ascendancy would be a gigantic thing. But not everyone thought that it was going to be the real deal in Standard.
No, there was a lot of people disregarded the deck, said it was too clumsy. You need the blue, the white, and the red for the Jeskai Ascendancy, but you really need to have a green creature. You want a green mana creature in play to make this whole combo go off. And so, people were like, I don't know. But it worked here, and Li Shichan got that 8th spot. It was pretty amazing. And, that's his 3rd top 8 in a very short span of time.
Well, he, of course, was in the same top 8, Born of the Gods, as Sean Mccloud. You could see a rematch from that top 8 there.
Right, well, that will be our first match.
That will be 1v8, so a rematch from there in terms of both being in that top 8.
And I gotta tell you, Ari Lax, not super excited about the prospect of playing Yuya Watanabe.
Incidentally, before we go, we must just pay tribute to the other 12-4s in particular. Great job by Greg Orange.
I am so impressed with Greg Orange. This is only the 3rd Pro Tour he's played in his career. Played in one long ago that he got the, you get a mulligan on that one, right? That was a long time ago. But, he's played in the last 2 Pro Tours. This is his 2nd top 25 finish. This is a 9th place finish this time, a virtual top 8, as I like to call them. Just a great job by him. Really excited to see what the next year is going to hold for Greg Orange.
Yoshihiko Ikawa almost made his 2nd top 8. Owen Turtenwald, well, of course, he just demonstrated that he was a master again.
Let's take a moment to acknowledge that Owen Turtenwald has just turned into one of the game's elite players.
Totally. Yes.
Absolutely. He's always one of the game's great players. But, over the last year and a half, this time he spent with, William Jensen and Reed Duke and the Pantheon have just honed him like a razor to just one of the most terrifying people that you could possibly be paired against at any Pro Tour.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal player. And commiserations to him, because the pair down, that's never a great feeling. And then facing Yuya Watanabe, never a great feeling either. Rounding out the 12 and 4s, Dennis Rashid of Sweden, great job. Adam Jansen, Tremendous effort by him. And Don van Ravensvaart.
I was so excited to see him back.
That's right. From Australia. Great guy. Led Worlds one year at the end of day one. And just obviously Australia, not a huge amount of time to get 2 places to travel, but when he comes, he makes a point of doing the business. And then Ben Stark, Andrew Cuneo, they ID'd into 15th and 16th. So well done to them. But everyone on 33 points or better gets to come back and do it all again at Washington in the new year.
Tell me how far down the 12 and 5s went.
The 11 and 5s. 11 5s go down to Aaron Lewis of the United States in 38th place, and incidentally, in 37th, from 1 and 4 to 11 and 5, Eric Froelich. Good job, Eric.
Well done.
Fantastic.
So just something to keep in mind, new rules this year. So everyone with 33 points, so everyone who got to 11-5 is going to be invited to the next Pro Tour.
Yeah, so well done, Aaron Lewis. You secured the last ticket to Pro Tour Washington. But although the top 8, they know they're going to come back again, but someone would quite like platinum status for not just the entirety of this season, but the entirety of next season. And one of those 8 people is going to do it. Will it be Jeskai Agro? Will it be an Abzan deck? Will it be the blue-black control deck? It would be back-to-back for Flock if he could do it. Or will it be Jeskai combo? There's the top 8, the announcement. They're so thrilled to be there, and we are going to be so thrilled to have you with us through every turn of every match on day 3. Don't you dare miss a thing, morning, noon, afternoon, or night. It's going to be absurd. Khans of Tarkir turns out to be a little bit good. Rich Hagan, Brian David Marshall, bye.